What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV here, back here for another episode of Player Ratings. Tottenham went up to the Hawthorns yesterday and snatched a 1-0 victory in a hard-fought win. You got to say that. There were a lot of hard performances out there. Look, you got to commend West Brom and the way they set up, the way they played, but you also got to commend Tottenham and the way we stuck in there, held our ground, and ended up with the 3 points.
I think it was a hard-fought victory. It took us a lot of probing and up until the very end to get those 3 points over the line. It was always going to be a tough game. The way the West Brom started the season, they've really struggled, and they know they're going to be fighting tooth and nail for every point. And I think yesterday they really turned up and put in a really good display and made it very, very difficult for us. But I think I think on reflection, we did deserve it.
Yeah, look, I completely agree with that. I think the first half performance, you'd probably say we didn't deserve it. We only had one shot on goal in that first half. But second half, we came out to play. There's no two ways about it. 17 shots, I think it was, in total in that second half. So that alone shows we really did deserve to win the game. Yeah,
and I will get into it later, but I think Jose deserves a lot of credit for this victory.
Definitely. Let's get into the player ratings. Let's start off with Hugo Lloris. So we gave him a 7. 2 great saves there were in there. One of the saves, I would say, came from his punch out where he could have potentially caught it. But apart from that, there was not too much of note from Hugo, but 2 brilliant saves in there.
Well, that was a really good save from the corner, wasn't it? The flick on at the near post and he tips it over the bar, or tips it, he saves it wide of the goal. And that was a really big save, and that was in a crucial moment of the game, like 20 minutes ago. If we concede that, it's curtains for us probably. I don't think we get anything out of that game, but typical Hugo, making big saves at big moments and when we really need him. But other than that, I don't think West Brom had too many actual shots on goal, although they did have quite a few attempts. But it was a big save, that save.
Let's move on to Serge Reguilón. We gave him a 7. This guy, he really is becoming a Premier League superstar. I would say that he got up and down on the left-hand side extremely well, up and down all night, tireless running, most recoveries in the entire team in 11. So in that sense that he played very well, but I do want to call on him to do more influencing the attack, because I don't think his quality was too good end product wise in terms of yesterday.
Yeah, look, because of the quality he has, maybe he could have done a bit more, but he did. He had a nice shot from about like 30 yards that forced a save out of the keeper, and he also, I believe, set up the chance for Vinicius, who had a shot, and that was a good pass into him, who Vinicius forced a good save out of the keeper. So I think he did some things, but we know with Reguilón, he's got a lot of quality in that left foot of his, and he really is becoming one of the better left backs in the league. He's showing it already since he's come. So it's been a good start to his Spurs career so far, and a big upgrade on Ben Davies.
That's for sure. Absolutely top quality Serge Reguilón. I just do want to see more from him. I know he's got 3 assists so far in a Spurs shirt, but just because of the qualities we know he has and the kind of the way he's getting up and down so well, I just want to see him do more in that final third. I want to see more from everyone, but I wouldn't particularly point at Reguilón in terms of I want to see particularly more from him. But I think he's, as you said, 3 assists already this season. That's probably more than Ben Davies has had in a few years. So he's showing a new dimension to our defence. And you got to remember, it's still so early on. To have 3 assists for a left back at this stage is quite a good return. No, I completely agree. Let's move on to Eric Dyer. We gave him a 9. This is the best Eric Dyer performance I've seen in a long time. I thought he was absolutely sensational, commanding performance at the back, goal clearance off the line, which was absolutely superb. Could have saved us the match, that one. In terms of duels, aerial duels, he won all of his aerial duels, 100%, 6 out of 6, and duels in total he won 7 out of 8. So what a performance from Eric Dyer.
Yeah, you could see Dyer yesterday. He was definitely our best defender on the pitch. He was really imposing. He was on top of everything. All the strikers that went the West Brom, when they tried to battle him, he was coming out on top. He was aggressive. He was quite good on the ball as well. It was a really good display from Dyer, and a really promising one. And I know it's only West Brom, I know it is, but you can only play what's in front of you. And I thought he dominated in the centre there and did a really good job.
Let's move on to Toby Alderweireld. We gave him an 8. I mean, I think it's the 3rd or 4th consecutive performance where Toby Alderweireld's been absolutely brilliant. Him and Dyer are really starting to form that partnership now. As you can see on the stats on screen, aerial duels and duels, he won the majority of them, 5 recoveries as well. Look, like you said, it is only against West Brom, but as you also said, you can only beat what's put in front of you. And Toby Alderweireld is putting in these performances now week in, week out.
Yeah, another good display from him. I'm not sure if you know, because we're playing Toby and Dyer for the last 3 Premier League games, and is it a coincidence that we've sat a bit deeper ever since they've come in? I'm not sure if it's a coincidence or it's just a consequence of us trying to be more tighter at the back. But that seemed to be the case. But it has been working for our defence for sure. We've definitely been a lot tighter. Toby and Dyer are starting to develop quite a decent partnership. Started last season, at the back end of last season in lockdown. They had a few good games, and obviously they had that awful game against Everton, and everyone thought this isn't the partnership. But maybe it is, because they're starting to look really solid at the back. And also what I like about this partnership as well was on the ball, they're both good ball players. They're both good passers of the ball for centre-backs. So I think this could be the best partnership going forward.
Look, I completely agree. I mean, they've made themselves undroppable, in my opinion, now. Toby and Dyer, both of them. I think you can't warrant anything to take either of them out of the team.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's interesting that Sanchez again left out the squad for the 3rd Premier League game running.
Yeah, I think it's the 4th out of the last 5 games.
So we'll have to wait and see what that holds for the future, but it doesn't look good for him at the moment, but it's still early days in the season.
Let's move on to Matt Doherty. We gave him a 7. I really do think this guy is growing and growing and growing into this role at Tottenham Hotspur. A lot of people kind of put him down for not getting forward enough, but I genuinely believe that's an instruction from Jose Mourinho, seeing as Serge Reguilon is just bombing it down, up and down, up and down, up and down. Matt Doherty has more of a defensive role on his hands. It's not really the role that you're used to seeing him when he was at his days at Wolves, but I really think he's growing into it. As you can see, the duels and the aerial duels, he didn't really win many of them, but he got the all-important assists right at the end. Absolutely gave it to Harry Kane on a plate to head it home. But apart from that, I think his defensive role, he is growing into it, and I'm liking him there.
Yeah, I think it was another step in the right direction for Matt Doherty. Look, that assist was pinpoint, absolutely fantastic ball at a crucial moment as well. It had to be pinpoint at that time, and he picked a really good time to pull out that kind of quality. But yeah, obviously, like with Serge, I want to see a bit more of him going forward. But I thought defensively, even though those stats might not show, I think he did do a good job. And I think on the right-hand side, he had Townsend pretty well covered. I thought he defended pretty well on the right, on a liability. And I think, again, it's no coincidence again as well. He's come in last 3 games as well. And we've tightened up a lot more defensively.
Yeah. Let's move on to Pierre-Emile Højbjerg. We gave him a 7, the GOAT. I mean, this guy just works so hard in the middle of the park, and I'm saying it after every single player ratings now. I'm not sure if we can survive games without him, because he is so important to us. And it's going to be good learning for Skip when he comes back as well, to learn off someone as good as him. When you're talking about Skip as well, playing brilliant in the Championship, and he's going to be another option for us at CDM next year, because we don't really have that other option now. But back onto Pierre, I think that the way he puts himself about in that middle of the park, it's no coincidence that since he's come in, our defence has got better as well. So he provides great protection there, starts attacks, finishes attacks for the other team. 8 recoveries yesterday in the game, and yeah, just another great display.
Yeah, he had his work out with Krovinovic, who I thought had a really good game yesterday, but I thought he dealt with it fairly well. I thought again, the way he battles in the centre is unbelievable, and it's really, and he's had a really good start to his Spurs career, phenomenal start. But we'll see in the next 3 games. It's going to be a big test for him, because I know he obviously had a great game against Man United. But we've got City, Chelsea, Arsenal in the next 3 games, all with a very good midfield who he's going to have to battle with. And he's going to have people like De Bruyne to contend with. So we're going to see how he fares in those games. But it's really more than encouraging. It's been a phenomenal start from Højbjerg. And let's just hope that in these games he proves that he's not just doesn't just dominate the smaller teams, but when he would come up against the better teams, he can also dominate in those games as well.
Yeah. Moussa Sissoko, we gave him a 6. Again, he was his busybody in the middle there, providing us with all the physical presence we need. Look, his quality is lacking on the ball. We all know that. I felt like the ball kind of bounced off him quite a few times in that middle of the park as he struggled to get it down under control. I do kind of feel that he's just got this place on loan until Giovanni Lo Celso is at full fitness.
Yeah, and I feel like in this kind of game against West Brom, he was a bit wasted in this starting lineup, and I don't think there's any coincidence that once he went off and we brought on Lo Celso and we had all of a sudden things started opening up and we started to create a lot more chances. I feel like when a team sits back, you can't, like Sissoko, there's no real need for him that much because we have Højbjerg there. Lo Celso can get his stick of foot in as well. So I think Sissoko's good for certain games, but I think for games like yesterday, I don't see where he fits in the plan apart from just more legs in midfield, which I didn't think was that necessary. So I agree with you. I'm hoping Lo Celso can take that spot and we can have that trifecta of Højbjerg and Ndombele and Lo Celso.
At the moment, this is what we're
hoping for still,
you know
but we're just waiting for Ndombele and Lo Celso to fully get up to speed. And I think I can understand he's kind of providing the legs to cover them at the moment, but once they get fully up to speed, they're going to be in the team, I believe.
Let's move on to Tanguy Ndombele. We gave him a 7. I thought in that first half he was the best player on the park for us anyway. I felt like he was the only one trying to make stuff happen, the only one that's showing any sort of attacking intent in that first half. In the second half, the team kind of upped it with him and tried to get on his level. I do feel like he kind of fizzled out in that second half, but what I want to say is that he played a number 10 role yesterday, and I just feel he's more suited to playing just a tiny bit more deeper so he can control it from that middle of the park.
He's the only player on that team who can really take the ball and dribble from a standing start against players like they're not even there. There were moments yesterday where he had 2 men on him and he just weaves in between them like they're nothing. And it's just so encouraging, and I think he's getting every single game. You can see he's really fitting into the team. That one moment where he chests down a long ball from Harry Kane and plays a volleyed pass into Son, who should have scored. That was absolutely phenomenal. That's world class talent there from Ndombele. It really shows the quality he has. He did fizzle out a bit, and then obviously it came for Lo Celso to come on and change the game, which he did. But I feel like Ndombele, another really encouraging performance, and we're in the big games. I think we're going to really need him to relieve the pressure and to be press resistant, because I think there's going to be a lot of defending to do in the next few games. He's going to really have to step up when we have the ball to attack.
Yeah, let's move on to Heung-min Son. We gave him a 4. It just wasn't his day, let's be honest. I mean, he was trying to make stuff happen. He was trying to be a busybody, but just nothing was coming off for him. And I just felt that there were a couple of moments where he held on to the ball for that tad too long and missed opportunities.
Yeah, especially that chance right at the beginning of the game where he's 1-on-1 with the keeper. He dawdles, and allows the defender to come in and make a block for his shot. That was our best chance pretty much before we scored, pretty much. And he had to do better. He seemed a bit sluggish when he was on the ball, but again, as Mourinho said, we were playing very safe yesterday and we were playing quite conservatively, and Son was tracking back a lot and he was a lot in his own half, and I think that contributed to him having a lack of attacking threat, which is a bit frustrating. Again, he's been of past 3 games ever since West Ham. He hasn't. I know he scored against Burnley, but he hasn't been much of a threat, and I think that's more to do with how Spurs have been as a team than him personally. But look, he'll have his moments, and I think especially in the next few games, he's going to have a lot of space to work with teams coming to attack us. So I think hopefully he'll improve. But it's one of the games that he did a job for the team, but he wasn't much of an attacking threat, which we expect from Son, and he was a bit sluggish when he did have his opportunities. Yeah,
but you know what, Son, he's allowed these kind of games once every so often just because how good he is. He's still top goal scorer in the Premier League, which brings us on to our next, Gareth Bale. We gave him a 4 as well. I don't think he looked sharp. I think he looked more sharp last game. He was trying to make stuff happen. The thing is about Gareth Bale, which I found, he's more than likely most of the time in the right place at the right time. He's always looking for the gaps. He's always in good spaces, but just on the ball, he couldn't make stuff happen, to be honest.
Yeah, quite similar to Son. He was actually tracking back a lot, and it was actually a lot in his own half. He played a really good pass into Kane, which set up that chance for Son early in the half. Other than that, we didn't see much of him in attacking positions, and we didn't see him in threatening situations as well, where he thrives, really, which is a bit frustrating. I don't think he was any worse than someone like Son was yesterday, but which is why we gave them both a 4. But look, when you have Bale, Son, and Kane on the pitch, you want to see more from them. You want to see them linking up and making chances. We didn't see much of that on Sunday, but I think we will in future games. I think it's just a learning curve to get that balance between a tight defence and a creative attack, and we're still trying to work that out. But yesterday, didn't see much of him going forward, which is where you want him.
Yeah. Let's move on to last but not least in the starting 11. That is Harry Kane. Obviously got the winner for us with 2 minutes to go with a lovely, well-taken header. But what I want to say about Harry Kane, first half, not much was happening for him, but second half he pretty much had 7 shots on goal. The majority of those were blocked. I think it was 4 blocked shots, 3 completed dribbles. This guy in the last 5-10 minutes as well was our best central defender. The way he was blocking shots and trying to just clear the lines. But this guy is just an all-action striker, midfielder, defender, whatever you want, this guy can do. And he's just getting better and better and better. And like we keep saying, this is the best version of Harry Kane we've seen.
Yeah, absolutely phenomenal. As Mourinho said yesterday, for other strikers, it's like how you rate them. It's like it's first of all how many goals they score, and then 0. You don't get anything else. With Harry Kane, it's how many goals he scores, how many assists he gets, how many recoveries he makes, how many headers he makes from set pieces, how he works with the team. You get everything with Harry Kane. He's not just a goal scorer. And not only that, he's still 7 goals in 8 games. He's one of the top goal scorers in the league, on top of everything else he's been doing this season. He's been by far the best player in the league so far. And again, stepping up
in Europe as well.
Yeah, and again, stepping up at a crucial time yesterday, 88th minute, when we need something. He was there in an attacking position, not dropping deep, not looking to create a pass, but being a striker, getting his head on it, and scoring a really well-taken header in the 88th minute. I thought creatively as well yesterday, he was pretty good. Played a really good pass into Ndombele, who set up the chance for Son. I think he was coming deep and being effective again. I just don't think the other attackers were really helping him out as much as he would have hoped. But he fought so hard for the team. All the long balls coming into him, he was trying to get the ball down, win headers, and working so hard for the team. And I thought yesterday again, sensational performance, and he was he was our best attacking player for sure yesterday.
Yeah. Let's move on to the substitutes. We'll start off with Giovanni Lo Celso. We gave him a 7. I thought he came on and he was positive throughout. I still think that you can see he's not fully there fitness-wise, but what I want to say, he should have scored, 100% should have scored. But apart from that, he was providing himself with a good outlet on there, very creative, and yeah, I just want to see him start a game, and I want to see him back to full fitness.
Yeah, I think when he came on, I think he gave us a bit more attacking impetus. I think Ndombele was tiring. We needed that creative player with a bit more energy, and I think he provided that. He was a bit off the pace. A couple of times he lost the ball cheaply and missed controls and whatnot. But I thought in general he was a big him coming on with Carlos Vinicius, we'll talk about soon. They were a big reason why we upped our game and looked a lot more threatening in the final stage of the match. And I think Mourinho was a big part of that as well, how he changed it up. And we started opening West Brom up. We was asking different questions, and I think it came through for us in the end. But I think Lo Celso was decent. I think it was decent when he came on, and he improved. He definitely improved our play.
Yeah, he should have got that goal, and that's something he needs to work on in his game, because his finishing doesn't seem really up to scratch.
Well, against Haifa,
he scored a few in the Europa League, but in the Premier League I'm talking about.
Yeah, and has he got a goal yet in the Premier League? I'm not sure if he has.
Maybe one, maybe. I'm not sure. Maybe not.
He got a few assists, but I don't think he's actually got a goal. But I think the quality's there. You can see it. The way he wraps his foot around the ball when he's taking a shot from 25 yards, you can see he's got good technique. And I think it just when it comes to match fitness and sharpness, once he gets that, I reckon he'll explode a bit. I think he's gonna start getting regular goals and assists.
Because he was in Spain.
But it's not. But as we know with Lo Celso, it's not just goals and assists he provides. He's a quality player. He's good dribbling. He's got a good eye for a pass. He works well with the team, and he's like the polar opposite to Dele Alli, isn't it? Dele Alli offers more of a final, a final ball with either an assist or a goal. But other than that, he's not really involved. Lo Celso is like the opposite. Although his goals and assists aren't there yet, he always is there for the team. He provides a good off the ball. He provides fight. He gets tackles in, he gets interceptions, and he works well. He knits the team well together. So Lo Celso is just he's more than just the goals and assists.
Yeah, completely agree. Now let's talk about the last couple of subs. We didn't give them a rating because they weren't on for long enough, but that was Lucas Moura and Carlos Vinicius came on with around 10-11 minutes to go. Let's start talking about Moura first, because I think there were good moments and bad moments in there from Lucas Moura. I felt that he really did contribute to the attack. He was providing that outlet and he really stretched us to go a bit wider on the pitch, but he did lose the ball in some really important positions.
Yeah, he came on for Gareth Bale, and I thought he tried to attack down the right-hand side. Didn't really create anything or get into any goal-scoring positions, but he just provided a different option and asked a different question of the West Brom back line, which may have opened up a bit more space. But I thought he did okay. Nothing too much of note for Lucas, I thought, in his cameo. But I thought Carlos Vinicius, when he came on, I thought he did provide something different, and I thought he did quite well. He forced a really good save out of Johnston, which would have been a nice goal. And I think having him and Kane on the pitch together not only opened up space for him, but opened up space for Kane, because it occupied the centre-backs. It made them think differently. It meant they weren't just focusing on Kane. It had someone else to think about, and it opened up space for Kane. And it's no coincidence that once he came on, all of a sudden, Doherty finds Kane in space for the header. And I think that was a big moment. I think give credit for Jose for that sub.
Yeah, and let's move on to Jose. Obviously, you've mentioned most of it, to be honest, already, but he made the changes to change the game. Completely perfect changes, I would say. Were there any reservations for you from the starting lineup or anything like that?
No, in terms of personnel, no, except for maybe Sissoko. But in terms of playing a team like West Brom, because it's just a bit frustrating when you see a team like Chelsea, they go to Burnley and they play Sheffield United, and they're not as worried about what Burnley and Sheffield United can do, because they know that they have the firepower to hurt them, and they have confidence in their defence to shut out what Burnley and Sheffield United could offer. And they went there and they kind of played them off the park, and they got their goals, and it was relatively easy wins.
But then again, Chelsea go to West Brom and draw 3-3.
That's what I'm saying. But that's the difference. We kind of come into this in the last 3 games. Ever since West Ham, we've kind of been a lot safer. We've been a lot more strategic in our play. We've kind of conserved the clean sheet, knowing that our attacking play should be good enough to get us a goal from somewhere, and it's kind of worked in the past 3 games. But I just wonder if this model is sustainable for the future, whether we need to kind of strike a balance between having good attacking play and conserving that clean sheet. Because at the moment, I think in the past 3 games, although we've won, and I give credit to Jose for being strategic and getting over the line and tightening up our defence, which he has, I still feel like in these games we need to be creating all chances against this kind of opposition. We can't just be relying on our backline getting a clean sheet. We need to be focusing on hurting the opposition when we can, and hurting them more than we are, and being in more control. Because that header against West Brom in the 20 minutes to go, if that goes in, then we're looking at a very poor performance and a very poor result as well, which is a bit of an issue for us. We need to not rely on these moments, and we need to be a bit more creative, a bit like Chelsea were against Burnley, and force the issue a bit than we did. We can't be relying on late goals and these moments all the time to get the win. We need to be a bit more on the front foot. But I think it is a learning process in the season. I think we are striking a balance, and I think we needed to go through these periods of conceding those goals against West Ham, tightening up the defence, and then hopefully in the future we have more of a balance between attack and defence, and we see the performances improve, and we have start creating more chances. But I think we had to go through these moments, but it's just a bit frustrating that we're playing 16th, 18th, 17th position in the league, and we're going into these games as if we're the underdog trying to nick a result, which is a bit frustrating. But maybe we had to do that to try and improve the defence, because it wasn't going in a good direction.
Yeah, we've had the 2 different sides of us this season. The beginning of the season, we were going all guns blazing, trying to score goal after goal, not really too worried about the defence, and you can see what happened there. Only one game really let us down in that sort of respect. It was the West Ham game, because when you look at the other games where we dropped points, Everton was just Everton. We just got completely outplayed that game. That was a fair enough. We lost that game. Against Newcastle, you would say that our defence didn't let us down that day. It was VAR and our finishing that let us down that day. So it was only West Ham, and I can understand that when you concede 3 goals in the last 10 minutes, something urgent needs to happen. But
is it an overcorrection on Mourinho's part? I'm not sure.
I think so. I do think so. But I think that once we get over this hurdle, maybe now we've won 3 games in a row, he'll start looking at it saying, look, the defence is settled now. Let's focus on the attack again and find a good balance.
Yeah, because to be fair, everyone was saying our big weakness is our defence, yet the past 3 games, 1 goal conceded, and I think we have tightened up the defence. And to be fair to Mourinho, although up until I would say 15 minutes to go, it was a nothing performance. He did change it up. He made the right subs at the right times, and we had a lot more of an attacking threat in the last 15 minutes, and we did get the goal, and I think deservedly got the goal right at the end. And if you look at our XG, it was a lot higher than West Brom. We had a lot more shots. I think we look less likely to concede than West Brom. So I think you've got to give him credit in how he's dealt with the past 3 games and how he's coached the team. And you look at teams like Arsenal who go for the win against Aston Villa, get completely destroyed. Chelsea against Southampton and against West Brom have these moments where they're just conceding 3 goals and can't stem the tide. At least even though we're playing safe, our defence seems to be on point at the moment, and we seem settled, and we don't look like conceding. So that's a good base to start from. I just think we might be too worried about the opposition in these kind of games and need to focus on ourselves a bit more. But I think in terms of the games we've got coming up, City, Chelsea, Arsenal, this could be a good base to start from.
This is where Jose is really going to earn his money over the next 7 games.
Because I guarantee you, if we have performances or results like we did in the past 3 games, people will be happy. Because if we keep it tight and nick a goal against City and win 1-0, people's going to say it's a masterclass.
Of course.
So it's a good base to start from in these kind of games. But it's just frustrating that we're playing West Brom and we're going with this approach. But at least we're getting the results, and maybe we'll see. Yeah, as you're right, he earns his money in these games, and we'll have to wait and see. Hopefully we get the results in these games, and if he does, then it's a phenomenal start. It goes from a great start to the season to a phenomenal start to the season.
I think in terms of what we're trying to achieve this season, a lot of people are talking about, are Tottenham in a title race? Are they not in a title race? I think we know after these next 7 games if we're in a title race or not, because our next 7 games, you're looking at Man City at home, Chelsea away, Arsenal at home. You've got Liverpool away in there somewhere, and you've got Leicester and Wolves in there as well. So and Palace away in there as well. So I think those 7 games, like I said, Jose will earn his money. I think that he has placed too much respect on the last couple of teams we have played, but we'll see what happens over the next 7 games. I'm feeling a bit confident. I think we can go on a big run now.
I hope so. I think it's a good base, and I think it's a good base in terms of it means even if we're not winning these games, we're always likely to get a draw from somewhere or nick a result because of how solid our defence has been looking. So I think you've got to give credit where credit's due from Mourinho. He's getting results, he's improving where we're weak, but it's all about finding the balance, and it's a long season. It's still only 8 games in, so he's still got a lot of work to do and a lot of figuring out to do. But I think we're getting there, and it's been a very positive start to the season. 5 wins out of 8. So I think Jose's doing well.
All right, well, there you have it. That is our player ratings. Let me know in the comment section below if you agree with our ratings. And if you don't agree with our ratings, let me know your ratings in the comment section below. Like, subscribe and comment. And as always, come on you Spurs.